With us today, we have Katrine Glenhammer, the director of TOTEM, Jonathan Langelund, the producer of TOTEM and the CEO of New Tales, and Nilas Røpke, the director of The Man and the Head. Welcome.
My name is Nilas Røpke, and I am an educated comic book artist, basically. And I made the movie called The Man and the Head, which is sort of a surreal movie, a short film about a small man living on a head and their conversations about life, basically, and like it's about like the insecurities of being doing creative things and in general finding a place in your life.
My name is Katrine Glenhammer, and yes, I directed the short film TOTEM. It's made with stop motion animation, so it makes it a little different. Film TOTEM is actually about learning the new abilities and skills in your life, and then the journey isn't about it doesn't end where you think it's gonna end. So if you want to learn something big and new, in this case, want the big wild boar as your totem animal, there is a journey to that part, and it's gonna end as you hope, but it's gonna end differently.
Yeah, so I'm Jonathan, and as you said, I'm the CEO and co-owner of New Tales, production company here based in Aarhus in Denmark, and I produced Katrine's film TOTEM.
I am the host, and my name is Claudia Munksgaard-Palmqvist. Jonathan, do you experience a difference when producing animation from live action?
I have done some live action now for some years, and I can definitely say that there are similarities, but there are also very big differences. One of the big differences is that animations takes and stop motion animation, which I'm talking about, is taking like a very long time to produce. For live action, you do your planning. You do your planning for some time. You develop a story. You do the planning for the production, and then you produce, which is very short time compared to the processor. And then you go into post production, and then you go into and then you have a film in a year or so, short or long. But in stop motion, I can tell that the process is the production is very long. It doesn't involve that many people, unlike live action, so you can really communicate a lot better, I would say. You don't have to plan the communication as much as you do in live action. You can just dive and go right in and talking with Katrine on this different path. That's just what comes up top of my head. And then also you don't make a lot of takes. I mean, you have your animatics. That's really good work tool that I also are figuring out where we can implement that in terms of live action, because it's really good work tool to know what you need. You don't do a lot of retakes. That's also very different from animation, and that also shortens the post-production down, I believe.
Question for Nilas. When you did A Robot is a Robot and The Man and the Head, I mean, since you don't have a background in animation, but in visual storytelling, is the process of the pre-production, is it similar to what Jonathan is saying here? Or do you have your very unique, very special, very Nilas way of doing it, just freestyling it?
I can say that the process in The Man and the Head was pretty fairly simple, because it I had to make a very simple project to make it myself first of all, and it was because it was only me. I didn't have to communicate it a lot, so I could more or less just feel my way through it. But yeah, I had sort of a structure like this, but it's just writing a manuscript, obviously, and then making getting the audio, and then making an animatic with the audio, and trying to figure out how much information each scene needs, and then just animating it afterwards. So yeah, pretty straightforward, actually. Yeah.
And both of your films, A Robot is a Robot and The Man in the Head, is produced at the Open Workshop, right?
That's true. A Robot is a Robot more so because I was there the most of the time, whereas with The Man in the Head, I worked just from home in Copenhagen, and then I got contacted them for helping me with sound mixing and stuff like that after the fact mostly, and just because they've been very helpful so far, also in terms of distribution and stuff like that, getting me in contact with a production company called Mio, which was really helpful with A Robot is a Robot and getting it out to festivals. So that's also why I wanted to work with them again.
Katrine, can you tell us a bit about the process of doing TOTEM?
When Jonathan helped me finish the first little short film, it was like a project for when I was still studying, and then I was going towards making my bachelor project, and Jonathan was like, "Well, should we make another film?" And first I was like, "No, thank you," because I already know that it would be a lot of work to do stop motion once again. But then I was also an intern at Wirefly Animation in Aarhus, where they do stop motion. So it made it. Of course, I would like to make another film, and it made so perfect sense going towards my bachelor project. So we came up with the idea for TOTEM, and then my bachelor was like a test of how the film was going to look. I had the possibility to use the studio and use the light and the cameras and stuff, so that made me have a lot more tools, and I have quite an ambition for the visual styles of my films. So that was pretty exciting. So we made a test, and then I finished my education. And as I remember, at the time, Jonathan was also very curious on using crowdfunding on a project. And I don't know if it was specifically thought to TOTEM, but we talked about it, and it kind of made sense in some ways, because stop motion is such a niche in animation, and it's also a niche where, even though you don't do stop motion, a lot of people have some sort of connection to it, emotionally, I think. So we made a Kickstarter campaign to at least get the funding for the materials to the film, and then we were also working towards getting some funding behind that, of course, to do the film. But it happened, and at least we had the money for the materials, so we went through and started planning the production and building the puppets and sets and stuff, and then just 3 years just went by.
3 years. Would you, if you knew how much time it would take, would that have changed
you can answer that yourself.
Do you think that that the reason why you didn't get funding from DFI was because it was stop motion? Like you said, Katrine, that it is a niche.
No, I think actually at that point the story hadn't really found itself yet. So I think actually it was mostly because of the story not being there yet. And we knew from the start that the theme I wanted to work with didn't really fit that well into a short film, because it is like a story that could be a long movie. But I think, and we tried to turn it into some other concepts with still the same characters. But I think at that point it was just that theme I really wanted to work with. So I was also very stubborn about making it fit. I think the film turned out nice, and we get a lot of good feedback on it, like from the audience. And I think the film is also to the audience. It's not made for grand film festivals or prizes in that way. It is made for the audience to have an experience. So I'm really happy that we stuck with the story, because it seems to touch people in some way or another.
Does that resonate with you, Nilas? Applying for money, where to, how to get funding? Like, have you used Kickstarter, or have you applied for different funds, or what's your approach to to money?
I just support myself by working in a bar and cleaning jobs and stuff like that, like part-time. So living on a pretty small budget, really, and has been doing that basically since I graduated. So I've done a little bit of freelance work within like my field, but not a lot. It's mostly been through other means. But it's I don't know. It's just sometimes difficult to find the meaning in all of it, and like insisting that what you're doing is worth something. But I definitely think it is, especially in these times when people are craving something to hold on to. Like I think different types of art is definitely what's keeping some people going. Games and movies and all that. It's important.
It really resonates with me what Nilas is saying, that as an artist you keep on searching for the meaning of what you're doing, because when we were doing TOTEM, I also had to have a part-time job, and I freelanced with illustration and stuff on the side. And in the end, it was too much, because and then I also did the animation. So it's just, it comes up where you are thinking about, is it worth it right now? Because I have to choose like a job that is flexible enough that I can do my animation, and I have to choose where my best hours of the day goes. Does they go in the as a barista, or does they go in the animation studio? So it's a struggle, but I also think there is this magical, beautiful curse that you just can't stop when you're an artist.
I mean, how do you manage to work in the film industry in Denmark and have a life without? I mean, I hear the frustration and the passion in Nilas and Katrine. How do you manage?
Cloning.
Cloning. Cool.
It has helped me a lot. I have an understanding family that has taken this very well. The reason that I can continue is to do this because it is demanding. But if you are capable of like giving away responsibility as well, and trust the person that you engage, like I was at a Rotterdam lab, the 2 weeks Rotterdam lab in combination with Rotterdam International Film Festival, and there was a guy saying that you should really cast your crew as well, instead of just casting your cast. You should cast your crew. I become better and better to do that. To do like, how do we want to work? How should we set out the plan? When should we be finished? Why should we make the film? I think that this why should we make is really a keystone in setting expectation and setting the level of trust on a project, because it works as a lighthouse for the long process.
I have a question, like for all of you guys. Why did you choose to produce in Denmark?
We were very lucky that Johan and Wildfly was basically is 200 meters that way. So I experienced that the community and the production of the motion was very close by. I know a little more about the temperature of animation and how fragile it is, and I through that way I came to know Christophe Paladin and his more international view on it. Well, given that he's French and has some network down in France, I can see that there is a lot bigger communities down there. Katrine also went to the Animact. Am I pronouncing that right? Animact in Poland, and I can tell and hear from that it's way bigger there. Seeing the how the funding system is turning out at the moment, I still feel that there is a good vibe on setting an emotion, and setting animation in prioritize animation in Denmark. So recently, for our part, the regional funding has turned has leveled out that you can't apply for live action short film, but you can still apply for animation short film. So in that way, and also I can see that there are animation coming from Denmark.
On the question of looking international on the production, because we were just starting up, both of us, me and Jonathan, when we had to do this. So none of us knew too much. I knew about the animation workshop and the open workshop, of course, and we were in a dialogue with those two. But for me, it's also, for me personally, actually a struggle is that I'm also very much like a home person. So to connect, wanting to do like a film that takes maybe 3 years to do, it is a lot of time to dedicate yourself. I don't have to necessarily move to another country, but it is a lot of time where you have to dedicate a lot of your person to that project, and to merge that with also being like a home person that really enjoys just being like going walks with the dog in the forest and just enjoying being there. For me personally, that's actually a big challenge, but it is necessary for the bigger films to see where we can find some partners, I think.
Can you please tell us a bit about the new project, perhaps?
Something with mermaids and something with like how we are treating the earth and the sea. What I think is very exciting is we are working on a project that where we take puppets stop motion, but we do it in a sea, like a sea world. So doing stop motion and something with water is quite a challenge. So that will add some new aspects to working with stop motion, because TOTEM is like made very kind of mostly like basic. Most of it is made in camera, where the sets and the puppets is still there. And I think we're looking into a project that is more connected to also VFX and CG and a lot of compositing. But I still want to keep the puppets, and this project where we are focusing on how the earth and the sea is treated by humans, seeing through a mermaid's eyes. I think doing that in puppet animation adds like a chance to play with the materials we use for the puppets and the sets, to actually go in the direction of using plastic that maybe has been like in the sea or something, waste like that. So it's still very much in development.
Are you working on something right now?
Not animation related at the moment, but I'm finishing up a long time project, a comics project called Übermensch, which I've been working on for like 4 or 5 years, I think, but not obviously full time or anything. But for the last year, I've been working on finishing that comic, and I hope to finish within this or next month. There comes like in the beginning, a new project is very exciting, but there comes a point where you just never want to think about it again, and it's starting to get there.
But Nilas, when you make graphic novels or films, like who do you make it for?
Like, it's mostly for myself, I guess, and I'm hoping that there are others like me. Like I've been doing Übermensch as a web comic. That's why it's been so long of a process, and I hope to find an audience through that, but it never really caught on. Apparently Katrine had read it, which I'm really grateful for, and like whenever people like show an interest in your work, that's why you do the whole thing. It makes you feel seen, I guess, is fairly important. But so I'm hoping that eventually I will make it for an audience. But right now it's just for me.
Now I came to remember that Katrine approached me like a year ago or so and said, "Have you read this? Have you seen this?" No, what is? It's Superman. And yeah, now I also follow you on the project on Instagram, and it's so cool that it's getting ready to be published, man.
Thanks. Yeah, because
don't worry, people are just as weird as you are.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Guys, what do we need in Denmark in order to keep making great art, great animation, great comic books, great music, great VR, AR?
It's probably the obvious answer in a way, but it is money. other than that, I think there's a lot of good basis to do a lot of good work because of like there are really good schools, I think, in Denmark for the size of the country. Like the animation workshop is internationally known and celebrated or whatever. So there's no shortage in talent, I believe.
I think that we are making some very good animation, very good comics drawings, comics book comic drawings in Denmark. I think there's a huge but every seller of entertainment is like competing, and right now Netflix and the streaming giants are winning, like taking more and more of people's attention, and also money. So the money isn't distributed the right way. I think that the distributor or the platform holders of any kind that are working with what we could call niche should invest much more in PR, because I think there are space to win back. I can see that for the fan fiction communities are really engaging and becoming bigger and bigger, and I think you can tell that by looking at that Faro Cigar has just like invested and opened up shops in not only Copenhagen but in Odense and Aarhus and Aalborg, and I think that shows that there are opportunities, and there are people that has the risk, are willing to risk something for opening up, because I think it can succeed. Because there are good funding system, but the funding can't bear the whole process through. In the end, you have to get money for your work, not just for working.
When you are sitting as a creator, the one who wants to invest all the passion and love into this film, it can be hard that you kind of always also have to be a salesperson, where you have to sell yourself, and I think it is important to be able to do it, and I know it's possible, but it's also, it's always like when you really want, when you know where you're really good at something and you really want to invest all the work you can do to this project into that part, especially here in the beginning, where you're still quite young and green in the industry, you really have to flex into also doing commercials or some other part where you kind of, again, it goes back to where can I put the best working hours. I think there is possibilities to do it. I've just applied for the art fund now, so I have to wait a couple of months to see if I maybe the rest of the year can work on my project. But it's still, I would still have to apply for another film fund and another film fund, and I am worried because I know that stop motion and animation takes such a long time. So I'm worried that if there will be enough that I can focus on my work. So I have to also think about, what can I do on the side, it's just difficult, because you have to also have another kind of mindset on top of your artist mindset. So we are mostly doing the films to ourselves or for ourselves, is because we have this, or at least I like have an urge to show people what was inside my head, and to give them something to wonder about, or so and I think these small wonders often comes from people being having to be independent because they are not far enough in their development yet, or like still under education or something. But the world is going in a direction where you really have to know your target groups, and you have to know where to put the film afterwards to make money from it, as Jonathan says.
I want to thank all of you so much for taking your time to do this Q&A on the Danish Spotlight program. I'm looking forward, and the rest of the board are looking forward to screen your work, the hard work at this year's festival, and hope to see you in real life sometime in Copenhagen.